Hey, this is Ronnie, and this is the Rescue Ronnie Show. Today, we're here with a good friend of mine, Ed Ryan of CDC Small Business Finance, and today we're going to be talking about obtaining a small business loan. So stick around and check it out. All right, we're back. Thank you for joining me, Ed. I really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well, man. So just what I want to do is I want to frame people on kind of who you are and your background in the finance sector, and then we can start jumping into some questions. So maybe tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I've been in finance for over 40 years, specifically in commercial real estate finance. Graduated from Cal Poly in 1983. I worked for big banks in the financial district in San Francisco. Then I worked as a special assets person in Walnut Creek, working out problem loans, blah, blah, blah. Come up to Sacramento, California, and I just ran into the SBA 504 portion because of contacts that I know that recommended. They said, you'd be good for this, and for the last 10 years, I have been.
So, I mean, you kind of run the gamut from all financial sectors, which is pretty amazing. So you know exactly what you're talking about, and that's why I wanted you to give the details on who you are so people know exactly what you do. Sure. So tell us here at CDC Financial, what do you guys actually do for a borrower or a small business? The
thing that people do, a lot of small businesses that have been out there for a couple of years are paying a landlord. And if you've been in a lease 5, maybe 10 years, that landlord's property values have greatly increased.
Right.
So what we do is we work with businesses that banks go, if you had another couple of years of stabilized income or something, they see promise, but right now they're not going to take the chance of giving them a loan. Right. They come to CDC Small Business Finance, and I say, well, I can work with you, and here's how we'll do it. You know, I look at a couple of years tax returns on the business, a couple of years tax returns on the borrowers. I look at what they've been paying in rents and kind of go, that's what they can afford right now. Right. And you go, okay, let's size it up. What size building do you want? What are your spatial needs? What's your 5, 7, 10 year sort of plan? And then look at the market and find availability. A lot of times what I do is I go, my clients are really the bankers and commercial real estate brokers in the Sacramento region, and actually California, Arizona, and Nevada. But they come to me knowing that I know what I know, and when I say there's a good loan here, there's a loan there.
They know you know what you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, perfect. And that's it almost seems like you're reverse engineering. You find out what their goals are, and then you kind of backtrack that and tell them what they can afford and what their financial ability is. So we're talking about small businesses, and if you are a small business owner, I am as well. So I kind of wish I knew you before we would have purchased a business. But basically, as a small business, what is the advantage of the 504, the SBA 504?
504 is specifically for long-term assets, like commercial real estate and heavy equipment that'll last 10 to 20 years.
Right.
So the advantages the first is that you can't go to a bank. Well, if you went to a bank, they're going to say, we want 25% down payment. Okay. The first advantage of this is that we can go to 90% of project cost. And the project cost includes the acquisition of real estate, any repairs it needs, and tenant improvements, any equipment you're going to buy.
Right.
So we kind of wrap that all into one loan request, and you only have 10% down as opposed to 20, maybe 30%. So that other money, what we look for is that to remain in working capital. And the working capital can be used for expansion. That's really what we are. We're a community-based entity, and our real drive is to create jobs. And so,
well, and you're allowing that business to stay a little bit more liquid, so that they can go and pay for more advertising or do whatever, right? So they can expand. They do best. That's exactly. Do what you do best. All right. So what type of, somebody's wanting to potentially take advantage of this, if they're looking to purchase a small business or equipment for their business, what kind of fees would be involved with this? Yeah.
The other good part about the SBA 504 is that the fees that are involved on our loan are added on to the loan, so there's no out of pocket.
That's nice.
So typically in a normal market, which we aren't in, the fee would equal about 2.6% of the SBA 504 amount.
Right.
And the bank has to pay half a point on a participation fee to take advantage of the program, because they're going to do a 50% loan to value loan.
Right.
That's pretty secure. So right now, because of the CARES Act, the SBA has waived 1.5 points of the SBA fee that's rolled up, and they waived the 0.5 point the bank, and that's through September 30th, which is our fiscal year.
So they're doing a little solid right now, giving a little incentive to get things stimulated, I'm sure. So I'd imagine this doesn't go forever. You can take as much money out as you want. Is there a max amount or a certain loan amount that you can take out?
Great question. With the SBA, there's a $5 million cap, right?
Sure.
Now with the SBA 504, we've got another avenue. If you're what they call a NICS code of 31 or 33, which is industrial manufacturing, you can come back for more loans. There's also a thing, the public policy for energy, where if an existing company is they own a building and they lower their project or their energy costs,
right,
or somebody else who wants to put sustainable energy in there, that opens you up to another $16.5 million worth of finance. Exactly.
Wow. So you can really you can light it up if you really want to. Yeah.
I have a repeat borrower who used up his $5 million, and then he kind of went, I've got these 2 projects, and the other question would be like, how big of a project can you really lend on?
Right.
And so he came to me, and one is a memory care unit, and the other is an assisted living. The memory care unit was $16.5 million, and I did a $5.5 million debenture behind the bank's first lien. On the other one was a $33 million project.
Wow.
And again, my loans are always in a second position, so banks always kind of went, wow, that's a cushion for them, and it's a 25-year fix this last month was 2.933%.
That's unheard of.
You can't beat this. I
mean, it's
I've been around a long time, and this is some of the best interest rates ever.
Right. So, and you mentioned earlier some things that you can buy for your business. What are some of those things? Like, is it like equipment for like a restaurant, or what would be involved in that?
Pretty much anything, tenant improvements, equipment. The poster children of 504 was this commercial laundry people that I met there.
Really?
2 great people, Keith and Julia, and they had this little 6,000 square foot space and all this equipment, and they were actually doing hotel laundry. Right?
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So, and I get to learn a lot about this.
Right.
So they go, yeah, there's this 60,000 square foot building I want to buy. I went, huh. Okay, I looked at their historicals, and I went, that's okay. So then he had already bought the same equipment, and it was in storage. He's going to replicate that and double his capacity. We got the building bought, and he comes back and goes, Ed, I've got to get this Milner tunnel washer. I go, well, okay, how much is that? $1.7 million? Okay, let's talk about it.
Wow.
It's
that's
huge.
Incredible.
And so flash forward over the last 8 years, he has 3 of those now. He put in a rail system, and then there's this Cannon Geyser German machine that where if you have the sheets, it gets dropped, and they pick up the sheets, they put the machine grabs it, figures out whether it's queen size or king size.
So it's making their life a lot easier.
He wanted to do 20,000 pounds of laundry a month. He does that in 1 day now.
Wow. So I mean, so he would probably not have been able to do that if he didn't have you as an asset. So that's kind of where you guys can come in. It seems like you're almost a middleman or an addition to the actual loan to just get a real good purchase situation.
We're kind of like a coach, really.
There you
it's
go.
like, yeah, you can do that. And some of the people kind of expect more sometimes, and even the same person I just told you about, I one time said, well, I could have gone to the bank and done this. What do you think would happen? I said, you would have been declined.
That's right.
But you couldn't come in here and get $25 million worth of capital at one point in time. So, but year over year, the growth was there. They were putting money back into the business, and
they're killing it. That's great. They're doing it good.
Yeah.
So that was awesome, and I learned quite a bit. If somebody out there is looking to potentially expand on their business or purchase a small business or however they refinance any of that stuff, how can they get a hold of you? And then also if there's a website that you can give or an email or something like that.
Right now, the easiest way to get a hold of me is my cell phone. It's been my same number for the last 35 years.
Right.
916-847 1815.
There you go.
Our website is cdcloans.com.
There you go.
And my email address is eryan@cdcloans.
It works together. My man, thank you so much. I appreciate the information. I love it. And please utilize this man. He's a wealth of knowledge. And as always, have the best day of your life. And adios.